Alrighty. I should probably do an intro. Let me do a little intro here. I'm going to change you to host. Welcome everybody to Facilitation Fridays, Human Potential Group. Here we are. So today we have, you're gonna have to fill in. I'm gonna do my best here, Logan. Logan is a dear friend and a fellow amazing practitioner. Logan specializes in, correct me if I'm wrong, psychosomatic massage.
Correct, sir.
And my interpretation of this is really like Logan has this amazing ability to understand the body of the language, or the language of the body, and translate what's coming up in that sensation, the pain and emotion, and what does that say about the psyche? What does that say about archetypes? What does that say about our stories? And so Logan has this amazing ability to use the body to dive into the mind and see like what is that connection, and why is the body holding certain things, why is it showing up in certain ways, as the body is most a manifestation of the mind. That's my interpretation. I've had some session with Logan. He's really a genius at what he does. I think he's like on the cutting edge of what he does, and we need more of this type of work. So I'm excited to have him, or we're excited to have him for Facilitation Friday. And if you want to say anything else, Logan, go right for it.
Awesome. Thank you for the intro, Brian. What's up, everybody? Yeah, just to expand on what Brian is saying, my background is in kinesiology and body-centered psychotherapy. So what I do with the practice is I help clients and other practitioners understand how to diagnose the symptom that might be dermatological, interpersonal dynamics, emotional issues, and get to the root cause through cross-referencing all of the body's stories, whether that's in your life, the themes that are playing out in your body, the disease process that is there, or the holding pattern that you particularly have as your character structure, which we're going to get into today. So today is a workshop specifically on the basics of how to, one, create a psychosomatic exercise for yourself, what those components are, so that you can really get to the root cause when you're diagnosing and using these exercises, rather than just jerking off emotions. Great, I felt an emotion, so what? That doesn't mean that you've resolved anything. So what I'd love to do before we get into it today is just have a little roundtable so I can get to know you guys, maybe share a little bit about your day, and if there's anything in particular that's happening for you right now in your life, thematically or in your body, that you want to explore today. Maybe a quick 30-second intro to that, so that one, you can see that in your mind, and two, I can help refine my feedback as we go along the day. So feel free to go popcorn style. I know a few of you already, but I'll probably go in order of what I'm seeing on my screen here. Eric, if you wanted to go first, Eric, feel free to go.
Okay, hi. So I am courageously working with Brian in the Courage program. So there's a lot of things that about myself that I'm trying to find sort of like a new beginning to a lot of things. So um, yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Just a lot of things come up here, and I've just been learning a lot from HPA. Just a lot of new things that, like the breath work, the shadow work, even the love, trust, and trauma. There's just things even from the non-existent, like romantic past. Just a lot of newness is what I'm up to bat for. So yeah, a lot of new discoveries. And so part of this, some of these things I feel like are kept in the body and my mind, and they just kind of come at different times. So that's kind of why I'm here to explore all these new things.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, and hopefully today we'll be able to help map out where exactly each of those things are for you, so you can get a really clear picture of what territory of the map you're heading into, whether it's work with Brian or the HPA calls. Anybody else want to go right away if you're feeling brave?
I'll go. My name's Tiana. Today was pretty chill. I spent most of it resting. Thematically, I think I've been experiencing a lot of anger and fear coming up and clearing out, and kind of like getting familiar with what that feels like. Sometimes coming up when there's nothing for me to be angry or afraid of, and allowing it to exist and clear out. So that's been a great experience so far. That's it.
Excellent. Do you mind if I ask if that's been coming up today out of curiosity, or is that just in general lately?
Generally, today, no. Today I was just exhausted. Today I slept like most of the day. I was supposed to meet someone to collect some hardware. They didn't show up, and then I literally fell asleep on transit, and then came home and just knocked out for the entire day, basically.
Cool. Okay.
But
Glad I asked.
that stuff just comes off for me.
Thank you, Tiana. Bay or Deb?
Okay, well, what's up, everyone? I'm Devin. Yeah, my day was pretty good. Like normal day for me. I get Fridays off, so so I just went to the gym today. Um, Going through, I guess, I get ups and downs. I have moments of where I have intruding thoughts and always think of like worst case scenarios and stuff, and then nothing really happens out of it, right? So like I always tend to feel a lot of tightness in my chest and in my head um, when it comes to my overthinking, and it's been like that for a long time. So I'm just trying to work on ways of getting around that and like thinking differently by doing breath work, by doing these meetings, and yeah, just something I've been working towards and getting better at. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Thank you, Devin.
no problem.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for sharing. I appreciate that. I needed the little extra nudge to express because I feel like I might have been starting to go down into my like workaholic tendencies. I just got scammed out of 1K and I was pretending like I was fine with it. And then I went straight into how do I make that money back ASAP and hustle to get there. And I think I was a little bit sad and I think I let myself like feel it out. But then I was wondering if I was going through my pattern of like toxic positivity and just being like, you know what, I'm confident that one way or another, this money's going to come back anyways, and I'll be able to sort it out and it's going to be fine. Just like eyes on the prize, work through things. But that gets me into this place where I don't really want to talk to people or like work with people very much, like, or hang out pretty much, like socialize. And I think it's because it encourages me to feel things a little bit more and tap into those feelings of a little bit of sadness because I was ignoring my intuition. And I have a little bit of shame associated to that because something was telling me to be mindful and I ignored it. And I've been really trying to tap into more of my intuition lately, but a lot of raw emotions have come up since coming back to Vancouver and observing patterns that I thought I was completely over, but like being in environments that encourage triggering with other people has been one of those things that I've been trying to stay positive around, but and trying to stay like the uplifting person. And I'm finding that I think I'm getting a little drained and I'm getting a little tired because of it. So I've been sleeping a lot, but not making time to write again, which I'm starting to find that's like an avoidant pattern because I don't want to face what's actually coming up. So that's what's been coming up for me today is that I think I need to write, but I'm in this like place of when do I find the time because I'm trying to fit in everything with everyone else and what they need. So I think that's what's been coming up a lot for me today and just getting hit with that. But
I'm very impressed by quite a few of you are going to have things that are going to be very tied to the themes today. So I'm glad you guys specifically showed up. Brian, would you like to take the stage for a moment?
Oh yeah, sure. So how am I and what's going on with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I was out dancing last night, which was great. Feeling great. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Life for me is I really am enjoying things lately. Like like this month has been about expanding my nervous system, seeing what if I can take on more. So I'm like leading a movement flow training and 3 events and gonna be moving at the end of the month. So an old Brian would have been like, oh my gosh, this is like too much. How am I going to do all this stuff? And or feeling guilt or shame about putting too much on my plate. Instead, I was like, I want to do all these things and they all really matter to me and I can. And I think the fear comes from like, oh, what if I don't get to like stay up late at night, or what if I don't get to fuck around? And I was like, okay, so I'm just like not gonna fuck around as much. So this month has been like expanding the nervous system and stepping more into the power, and it's feeling good.
Fuck yeah. Thank you, my dude.
Thank
A little bit for me, what's going on today. I actually had a really good day. Got to go and see one of my friends who just came back from traveling. We went cold dipping way past Lions Bay. So it was an overall, yeah, Brian knows what's up. Chris is back. It was an overall positive day. I'm feeling quite drained lately as well because of finances. So that's one of the things that's, I'd say, aggravating my system, but it's also causing me to fall asleep quite a bit. I'm getting more nappy lately, and it's probably because I'm not feeling some of the things that we're going to talk about today. Typically, the collapse is from a lack of feeling the aggression. So what we're going to do here in a moment, I'm going to close the patio door so I don't have construction outside tampering with the recording. But I want to make sure that you guys have two tools with you. Number one is I want you to go get yourself a pillow. And number two, a blanket. And I'll come back here in about 10 seconds. Did we lose Tiana? It looks like she's gone out of the course here.
I'm walking around. I'll be back.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we're just missing Bay here. Okay. Well, while we're just waiting on Bay to come back, feel free to get comfy if that's lying down or just holding the pillow for a moment. Do try and stay alert. So if that's seated, that would be best because you're going to need to be able to see me speaking for a few moments here before we get into our first exercises. All right, welcome back, Bay. Tiana, are you with us right now? I just want to make sure you're still here.
Yep.
Okay. So as we get into creating some exercises and playing around with these, I want to get into the discussion about there are two major things that you need to look after when, and this doesn't matter what practice. You could be doing breath work, psychotherapy, working with a naturopathic doctor, doesn't matter the practice. But typically there are two major protective mechanisms that are going to prevent you from feeling the repressed trauma. Number one, all of us are going to know this one. It's chronic tensions locking down in anticipation of the event that has been in the past that you're perceiving might happen again in the future. So over time, if you really contract the musculature, whether that's preventing yourself from speaking and locking down the trachea, tightening the throat, or that could be holding your back erect, trying to hold back your anger from lashing out and hitting somebody, the longer you hold that pattern, the more you're going to repress the awareness of it. So if I pinch my skin, I can feel that right now. But in about 3 to 5 minutes, that sensation is going to drop about 50 to 60%. I'm going to start losing awareness, even though I haven't changed anything about it. The same happens with chronic tensions in the body. So if you're holding that psychotic posture for too long, you're going to lose awareness that it's even there, which means that you've lost awareness of what is happening in your body and what you're trying to react to. So number one thing is we're going to have to reduce the muscular armoring that you cannot possibly feel. That's why massage is quite useful. Breathwork also does the same thing. The other is in the face of some traumatic event, you might deaden the body to prevent the feeling. Both are doing the same thing. One is preventing the feeling by contracting, and then you deaden the sensitivity to that overtension. The other is going completely limp. And you might see this with people who are quite hippy dippy, loosey goosey. they can't necessarily feel their body. They're up in the sky. So I titled these two earth and air bodies. One is quite rocky and solid, and the other is quite not here. Both need to feel the repressed trauma through different tools. So we're going to start with one very simple exercise together. We'll come back to the theory as it's relevant to your body and what you're experiencing today with the exercises. So for now, forget about what I've just talked about. It will come back when it's relevant. I want you to grab your pillow. We're going to start with a really gentle exercise. This might actually trigger a few things for you if you might have resistance to softening right now because you have some need to perform or get shit done. So just pay attention to how this exercise makes you feel. It's called going out into the world and coming home. So I'll try and back this up a little bit here. You're going to place your elbows on either side of the pillow glued against your chest. And I want you to collapse down and forward like you're holding your favorite teddy bear, a child, or your inner child. And I want you to try and soften completely here. Let yourself drift off into that quiet place, maybe placing the pillow against your cheek. And relax your breathing, let go from the day, and maybe being in student mode, expecting to pay attention in class. I want you to really get attuned to, if you can, feel this at-home position. No more bullshit. No more dealing with troubles in the world. When you feel ready, I want you to just gently start opening up, whether that's the palms coming off the pillow or the head straightening up. You're going to try and open up to the space around you. That might be a little bit, that might be completely open, but stay sensitive to how you feel as you open. Are you excited about opening? Does it feel good? Or would you much rather be fucking cocooned away? As soon as you start feeling a desire to stop the bullshit and performing, I want you to go back home. Hug that pillow, get really tight. Let yourself make some sound if you need to. Now we're going to cycle this back and forth. The words are, I can go out into the world as you open up, and I want you to try and enjoy like you're going out to go get things done. Go play your favorite sport, see your favorite friend. Embody that feeling as you open. It might just be a little bit, just a wink of that feeling. And when it's too much, I want you to say, and I can come home to you, and hug the pillow. I'm going to give you another minute here to explore that yourself at your own pace. I can go out into the world, see yourself going through your day, all the things that may occur, the good and the bad. And when it feels like it's too much, let yourself come home, cocoon away, soften, and enjoy that place. If it's aggressively coming home and squeezing to control, let that happen. That's okay. Good. Okay. Wherever you are right now, I want you to relax in that position and let your mind come back to today's Zoom meeting. I want you to notice how your body is feeling right now. Did you soften? Is there any places in your body that might be tightening out of trying to perform, put on a mask? Do you feel potentially slightly aggressive about the fact that you're having to be soft. Whatever it is, see where it is in the body. If it's the abdomen softening, but the neck is still tight, or the chest is starting to feel something bubbling up in it as you soften. Let yourself feel that. And what we're going to do is we're going to move into the next exercise. Whatever place in your body is calling your name the most, a place that maybe should be feeling some sensation, but it's deadened, or a place that's feeling tight or anxious, I want you to start to squeeze that area gently. Even if it's a place that's deadened and you can't feel much, I want you to gently squeeze the musculature around that area for 5, 4, 3, 2, relax. As you relax, does that body part need a boundary? Perhaps placing a blanket or a pillow on top of it, a hand on that body part. If it does, just bring that boundary to it. It's going to help reduce the tension beneath that secondary boundary. And we're going to go again here, focusing on that area. I want you to squeeze slightly, turning it on to about 30%. Turning it up to about a 50 here, squeezing slightly more. And relax. You might notice that some thoughts come to mind as you start to deepen into the practice. You might start drifting back to your intention or the things that have been happening to you this week. I want you to think about those as you start to gently turn the dial back up here, squeezing up to about a 60% here, letting your body start to change as you tighten the contractions, forcing the rest of the body to come online to help, squeezing 75% here, turning it up, letting the voice and breath deepen. And relax. Giving yourself a moment here to feel your body. What's changed? Are there new sensations? Perhaps some feeling or even an emotion bubbling up out of that. You might find yourself playing out stories in your mind or hearing a voice. Just pay attention for a moment here. When you're ready, I'll invite you to share very quickly, perhaps 10 seconds, if there's anything coming up for you. And then we'll move on to a deepening of the exercise.
It was great. I definitely cried at the beginning. And then trying to squeeze my solar plexus was like, I felt suffocating. But then almost slightly relieving. So that was awesome. Thank you. I needed that.
You're welcome. Thanks, bye. Anybody else have something coming up for them that they want to voice verbally as a journal for yourself?
You can go, Dev, if you want.
Sure. I didn't know if you if you noticed or not, but yeah. No, like I don't know. I noticed there was a deep sadness in me. And it's like my inner child wanted protection, and like I could feel my like younger self wanting attention and needing that attention, and that made me sad. Yeah. So that's what came up for me. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Stay with that if it continues to deepen.
Okay.
Eric or Tiana? Anything going on for you that you'd like to share? If nothing, feel free to just wave us off.
For me, I was just like from my hips and my like lower back, and maybe just like from day to day like work stress that is just kind of feels a little bit relieving that and the weekend is done, that I don't have to deal with that. But I was just kind of carrying a little bit of anxiety from the work week.
Okay, good. We'll be able to use that as we move forward too, especially if it's a relieving of something that you don't want to deal with anymore. That can be added to the exercise on the squeezing, the pushing away of that. Stay the fuck away. I'm good, man. So whatever flavor, let yourself go into that. Tiana, is anything going for you right now?
At first it was just tension in my shoulders, but as I'm sitting here, there's like you know that roller coaster, that feeling you get in your stomach when you're on a roller coaster?
Mhm.
That's like going up into my heart space and my throat is tightening myself.
Okay, excellent. So just having you guys verbally journal those things for yourself will help you remember when we go back into it. Like I mentioned with earth and air protective responses, for earth, I want you to think about it like the pipes in a car are clogged, so the gas can't get anywhere. In order for the car to be able to drive and have the fuel reach the gas or go from the gas tank to the engine, you got to unclog the chronic pipes. The air protective response is a leaky gas tank. They are like a balloon. So if you think of your life force as an inflated balloon, as a child, they would have punctured the boundaries of their ego so that when enough stress comes by, they can flatten out completely. But that means it's very difficult for them to remain fully full and inflated. So what we did with exercise 1 is we put a boundary on part of your body. That would be sealing up the holes, giving you safety in your body that the musculature underneath that does not have to take responsibility for. If I have a tight heart, usually adding the boundary on top means that now the hand or the pillow can play the stability that my thoracic cavity is trying to generate. The squeezing that we're doing with these exercises is now pumping 2 things. In any injury, there are 2 archetypal opposites. There is the yang and the yin, or anger and sadness. They might show up in different ways. One might be judgment and avoidance, but they are embodying those 2 things. So as we deepen into the practice here, I want you to start thinking about that feeling in your body. Does it have an action? Dev was speaking about the inner child wanting attention, perhaps not getting it. Does that child, in the absence of getting the attention, have an action of hiding away or trying to puff out its chest and react? Tune into your body now. I want you to take a minute here and feel if there's an action or a sound that comes from that feeling that is there for you. Mm. If you have an action that comes to mind, we're going to go back into the exercise now, embodying that gently. If that's a pushing away, I want you to start to let your hands embody that as you start to squeeze your body. For me, the desire to perform for you and control, I felt this desire to squeeze and bite. And underneath, my heart was aching because I really just want to relax and be soft. So I'm going to let myself go into that with you guys. And we're going to start again here from the bottom of the barrel, starting at maybe 10% capacity. Let yourself go soft for a moment here. When you're ready, letting yourself turn that tension on slightly. letting the voice come to mind of the part of you that wants to react, and allowing that feeling to change what the body is doing. Pushing away, pulling in, hiding. And relax. Let yourself soften here. Let the exercise go. Let your body change. Feel how your body is shifting from having honored that desire to act out. When you're ready, we're going to exacerbate that movement now, turning it up to about a 40% capacity, letting the movement be slightly dramatic beyond what you would want to do. Turning it up here, letting the voice be known as you tighten and express. Good. When you feel the opposite reaction starting to catalyze, let yourself shift. If that means going to a yin state, sadness, let yourself go. If that's going the other way and becoming angry, that's okay too. Relax for a moment here. From this place that you're in, feeling your body, noticing what's changing, perhaps an increased sense of space or vitality in places that might have been completely asleep. Is there changing tension or anxiety building elsewhere in the body? Pay attention and go into those places. They might guide you into any visions or thoughts, voices or emotions. When you feel complete with being with your body, I'll invite you guys to verbally journal with us again, whatever's happening for you. But as you speak, staying inside yourself as if speaking from this place of relaxation you're in, not for anybody else, just for you. I'm more than happy to help catalyze our minds out of being in body mode. I can share a little bit here. For me, with the biting and forcing myself, I had some body sobs come up. Now, as I'm facilitating, I'm not letting myself fully go into it, but I noticed at least the mechanical kickstarting of the desire to fully sob. I was getting the pulsing and the happening because I fully felt my psychotic behavior of trying to perform for you by exacerbating that first, which meant I could deeper feel the underlying truth of that. So that's what was coming up for me, which was humbling.
Thanks for sharing that. I think I need that extra push. I don't want to hear people share it first. But I was like tapping on my solar plexus, and then the increased intensity, I started like wanting to hit my solar plexus like really hard, and just wanted something like punching at it. And it was this intense aggression and anger. Then just started bawling even more. But yeah, that was I didn't even think I was angry. So that was really, really good to be able to sense where that anger was in my solar plexus, and how my instinct was to feel like that beating, like that. I don't know why I would want that, but something like beating at my stomach was definitely what felt right at that time.
Yeah, well, that might continue, so I'll stay with that. We will be going back in, so if it deepens, we'll see. If anybody else feels called, you're more than welcome to share. It just helps as we go into the deeper layers to have a moment to really reflect on what's happening in your body. But if you prefer to stay inside yourself, we can do that as well.
I can go a little bit. Yeah, it was interesting for me because I know that my holding patterns like in my lower back and my back, and the first layer is like this yin sadness, but then when I go into that, there's like there's anger and frustration. So I was like squeezing into that and like letting myself feel the anger, because I usually like there's like this anger towards like, why haven't you addressed this, or why haven't you like worked on this, or why is it even like this? And then like letting that be there, and then after there was like a really nice softness and a little bit of sadness, kind of like, why haven't, like I was like, why are you like this? And it's like, well, why aren't you paying attention more? So yeah, it was very simple but very effective.
Excellent. Thanks, Brian. Dev and Eric, would you guys like to share? If you need to wave off and continue on with your body, you can do that too.
I'm still trying to like feel the feels, because like I don't know what it is. Like maybe today I'm a little bit like not inviting those things to come into me. So like maybe when I'm just, I think the one thing that comes up is like anxiety and fear. Like some of that kind of came up last night, but for some reason, like today I'm kind of sitting a little bit easier. But then like if I start to put my mind to it a little bit more, I guess that's like when I'd be squeezing into my pillow, and the two places I felt right here, like into my shoulder, but then the fear and the anxiety is like kind of in the heart area, and almost kind of just like saturated with in the lungs. And I just think maybe because um, a lot of the breathing exercises and stuff I've been doing have seemed to help me, that I started kind of like more breathing into the pillow while I was holding it, to just sort of like like be a thing to tell myself it's okay, because yeah, that fear and anxiety kind of can creep up on me.
Nice. Thank you, Eric. That's a very good point that we can make for everybody. Breathing can be two things. It can be reassuring, like stroking your skin, but it can also act the same way as the contraction and relaxation oscillation. Ventilation and contraction relaxation are the same thing. So you're pumping energy and then dumping energy out of the system. So breath can work just as well as squeezing, and they do go together because you do have to squeeze to descend the diaphragm. I will invite you, Eric, if there's resistance to going into any feelings, or maybe amnesia of, oh, that's not what I'm feeling today. See if there's any resistance of, I don't want to feel this, Logan. This is not what's productive for me. This is not what's going to help me. If there are elements of that, I want you to honor that voice inside of you. Use this dynamic of sometimes going through exercises can remind you of people being forceful on you, and how does that affect your body? There might be flavors of that. So if that comes up, go for it. Yeah. Dev, you good?
Yeah, so what came up for me was like a lot of tightness in my head and again in my chest. And it was like all I could hear in my head was, why can't I control this situation? And like I want to control the situation. And then that was the tightness. And then when I was letting go, it was like, you are enough. You are good enough. And it was more of like a trying to tell my inner child that like nothing is wrong, everything's okay, and things will be fine. Just, let things happen. But mostly what was being said back to myself was like, you are enough and everything's okay. So, yeah, that's what
Good,
came up
man.
for me. Yeah.
I'm dancing between whether or not I show you my screen right now or we go into another exercise. But I think what I'll do is I'll show you my screen, which might help you guys frame what's happening in your body for the next round of exercises. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's see. And we're going to jump to, okay. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're doing right now. It's called rocking the car. So in any broken state, whether that's physical or psychic, these things happen. So if you look on this side of the screen here where my mouse is, the pyramid, the dark side is the shadow aspect or the subconscious mind. The fully repressed archetype would show up as a complete depression or despair state where you cannot feel any way out. You're stuck at the bottom of the ditch and there's no way out of there. You might as well just give up or not feel anything. If that archetype splits into two, you will feel its two components. Either the anger of, I need to get the fuck out of here, how to get out of here, who put me in here? Or the other side of, why the fuck am I in here? Why did you put me in here? I'm helpless. I'm whatever it is. So it's very much like rocking a car out of a ditch. If you are in a broken state in some way, you're going to be at the bottom of the ditch. The only way to get out of there is to rock back and forth and deepen the ability for you to feel each of those polarities to the maximum. If you cannot fully feel your anger about that situation, dynamic, theme, you're not going to be able to rock the other side. You might as well just try and build a helicopter and fly out of there, but that's not how it's going to work. If you can't fully feel your sadness, well, you're going to be a car revving going and wasting all of your energy feeling helpless, which will guarantee the despair and depression state after. You need to work with the momentum of both of those. So the deeper you can go one way into, the deeper your body will oscillate into a full parasympathetic state. And you'll get the download of the other side of the complex of what happened as a child. Man, I'm so sad that my parents didn't treat me right. Fuck, why didn't they love me? What the fuck is wrong with me? And you can deepen into that material, work with that. And the deeper you can feel that, the more it guarantees you're going to go, well, fuck them. Fuck you. What the fuck is wrong with you? The deeper you can fully feel that, the more you can get all the way out of the ditch on either side and realize by looking back in, neither one of those was true. Until you can fully experience both of those polarities, you are in resistance to the reality of the injury, which means you're trying to spiritually or emotionally bypass what's happening biologically. So no amount of positive thinking or reframing or any of that is appropriate if you are in the midst of the shit. It's only appropriate if you can genuinely access your inner adult, which would then reparent the child and say, no, it's okay. Look at this. This is actually the truth. That's not always available. So we're going to get back into an exercise here. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and we're going to do our last round of deepening with what was going on for you guys. Through this last one, there's the third component. We've looked at so far, what does the body need to feel safe to feel an emotion? That's either sealing up the gas tank so that it can fully feel the fuel that's in it without emptying. Next is contraction and relaxation. Can you let the pipes have the energy flow through it? That's the body side. Then we have the rocking back and forth. That's the mind. What does the mind need? And the mind needs to play out the anger. The mind needs to play out the sadness. Well, the last thing we've touched on briefly, the action guarantees a statement. How do you feel in that moment? And usually we look for using words as the last thing to really sharpen and magnify the feeling in your body. That doesn't mean going on a monologue, though. You'll often find people in therapy or going through a process or rambling about how they're feeling, trying to make you understand. That's taking you out of your body. What we're looking for is a marquee statement, very simple phrase that really magnifies the feeling in your body. For me, if it was the twisting and the controlling of myself, it'd be, fuck you, you better perform, you little shit. That statement really magnifies and guarantees the pumping of the fuel through the body so that my body fully comes online and I can be that full polarity. Without that, you're still kind of playing at this like mystical realm of, woo, I kind of feel an emotion, but I'm not clear what it is. I don't know what the fuck it is. There'll be a moment where you find a statement and it will, holy shit, that's the feeling. And now the exercise can reach resolution. Without that clarity, you're kind of grasping at conclusions about what's happening for you. But when you can fully find a statement for one and the other, and maybe the bottom of the ditch, you're pretty close to finishing up the whole journey. So give yourselves a moment here. I want you to take a second to feel your body before we go back in. See where you're at right now. If the story or dynamic has changed for you, you'll know by how your body is feeling. So notice what's changed for you. Letting your mind potentially calm down here. Seeing if your body is heavy or if it's revved upwards, up, up, up. Where is the energy? You might start to get a verbal whisper of the things you want to say, or a strong action that you want to do to honor yourself. That might come in a visionary state, seeing yourself acting out the story of what's happening. If you can find the most condensed version of that story, find its action. Is it pushing away? Is it standing up and erecting a strong posture? Is it closing off and turning away? Whatever it is, I want you to see that fully and listen for the sound that comes from that posture. It might be a soft whimpering. Huh. It could be a slight growl. It might come through the eyes of, I'm going to stab you, kill you. Whatever it is, let yourself enjoy that feeling, go fully into it, and let your body change into that position. For me, it's going to be pointing the finger at myself. We're going to turn that contraction up to about a 20%, letting the movement come on line here and letting the voice be spoken through potentially just a sound. Ah. When that feels to be too much, letting yourself relax deeper. If you need to lie down or put a blanket over your whole body, feel free to do so. if you find yourself oscillating deeper into the other side of the ditch, I want you to honor that with a feeling. I'm feeling my full sadness right now, so I'm brushing my heart, letting my eyes water here. You know how the exercise goes. So when you feel like the car is starting to rock in the opposite direction, honor the opposite movement, sounds, and contraction style. When you guys feel ready, relaxing your body fully, letting the exercise go, staying in the most comfortable place you can. Noticing what's changed in your body just passively. You don't have to scan. Your body will whisper to you what's happening. When you feel ready, if you are called to share, this is a good time for us to have a little closing, what you're noticing, how that journey has been for you. And there might have been stages. If you're having a difficult time grasping at that journey, what's changed in your body? The body never lies, even if you haven't regained the emotions or feelings yet. So physiological symptoms that change tells me the emotions are changing in the subconscious mind.
That's pretty cool. I felt a weight off my back and like expansion in my upper back, almost like my lungs could breathe a little bit more. And I looked into solar plexus earlier and it was lungs and something else. I feel like I just released some grief that was building up there. And the words that came to mind instinctively is, why are you putting yourself through this again? Which is like really clear. So as soon as I was able to like take that in and not try to play the victim to whatever circumstances are coming up, then my chest actually felt expansive. Like it just yeah, it just felt like really warm. Like something like flush like heat over my chest. Um yeah, that was pretty cool. Thanks for guiding us through that.
Thank you, Bay. That flush of heat is often a good indication that life force is returning to a place that's been holding against some sort of fear. So
Thank you. Thank you for that insight.
Anybody else feel like they'd like to share on this closing here?
Okay, I felt like the flush of heat too, so that was interesting. And I think it helped me a lot when you had said like a short, concise thing that you know what I mean? That helped me. So I recognized I went from this is so frustrating, why is this shit so evasive, to understanding is overrated. I'll get it when I get it. And that was kind of my pendulum. So that was cool to do.
Excellent. How's your body feeling?
Warm, very warm, and
Okay.
very relaxed. Like I feel like I was holding everything or trying to hold everything, but I couldn't. And now I don't even care if I'm holding.
Hmm. That's a good feeling, huh? Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I just wanted to share quickly. I'll share my experience, but what you're doing, Logan, is so cool. Maybe you're aware of this. Like, it's so aligned with Hermetic principles. Like, you're tying in polarity, the law of polarity and rhythm, and these concepts are like, everything has its polar opposite, and then the rhythm is like the cadence in which it goes between the poles. And most people they go to one end, like you said, like sadness, and then inevitably that's going to go to the other end, or usually, maybe happiness and then into fear, and then they're constantly a slave of the rhythm and not transcending it. And what I see what you're doing is you're like, let's embody both sides and to transcend them, to not be a victim of the swing, and then you can witness the swing. And you just brought that into, like, it's funny too, because I'm like, how do I apply rhythm and polarity? Like, what does it mean to apply it? And then here you are teaching me. And then, yeah, for me, my body was like, I went into the sadness first, and my body was just like, it's like, I'm broken. That was like the saddest part. Like that part of my body's like, I'm just broken. There's something wrong with me. And then then I let it get angry, and then it was like the anger was like, I want to be free. Like, let me be free. And like was freaking out, like why can't I do these things that I want to do? And then it was just like nice and calm.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah,
I
thank
Yeah, if I can add to what you're saying, the bigger our ability to act these things out dramatically, even if it seems silly, means that we have access to more range of motion of what we're seeing in our mind. For example, if you see yourself trying to break free, but it seems silly to do that, or almost performative, the need to release the holding pattern actually comes through the whole range of motion. So the greater we can get into depth with these exercises, the more it looks performative, but the more genuine you become through the performance, which means that no aspect of life is off limits to you. Nothing seems too dramatic. Simultaneously, those places of drama become much more grounded and not erratic. Mhm.
genius.
Dev and Eric, anything going on for you guys that you'd like to share?
Uh, so yeah, what came up for me was like in the beginning was just like tightness and wanting to curl up and like to hold on to this anger and everything, and like just like it just everything got tight. And then as it went on, I just had this voice in my head just telling me, let it go, just let go. And then like I felt myself releasing my pillow and like opening up, and it felt like there was a little bit of a release, I guess. But but yeah, that's basically what I got out of it.
Excellent. How's your body feeling? You said you got a bit of release. Was that
Yeah, like I
specific to anywhere?
well, like I kind of had a tightness in my hips. I think it was just because of my posture and sitting on my couch. But other than that, like now that I'm stretched out, I feel a lot more relaxed. So yeah, I feel like there was a yeah.
Thanks, man.
Um,
I just want to say, for me, like, uh, I'm just, I feel like I'm in this like relaxed state, and I have to be honest. Like, there's a lot of times that I feel like I'm not always in this way. So I'm actually like talk about gratitude. Like, I'm really like grateful that I'm feeling in this relaxed state for like a consistent period of time. So I'm like I don't know. I just feel like I'm not trying to like let anything rock me or to like take me out of this state. So I'm just not like going there, you know. Like I'm just being honest. Yeah.
So that's got to be a good feeling too.
Yeah, but yeah, so but normally, yeah, like I get like more tension in here, if anything, in the shoulders. So
From
just
the worry.
yeah,
It's okay. The only thing I would say to that is the more we get into exercises like this, the more the body adapts to I've created a strong boundary, whether that's the pushing away or fully being angry. And I've created a deeper intimacy with myself in sadness and relaxation. So simultaneously, what we've done is we've deepened ranges of motion. You've relaxed deeper into positions that might have been a stretch previously because you were holding back. And we've also tightened in those deepened places of emotional range of motion. So you've built stability. You've tightened and exercised your ability to be in that stretch, that emotional stretch, which means you're starting to build strength and resiliency in the vessel itself, which removes the pressure of having to learn any coping mechanisms or how to reframe anything or how do I learn this skill to handle this relationship. No, that's all bullshit. That's the ego trying to cope with something that you know your body's not ready for. You go the other way around, you're never gonna have to learn a skill in your life. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a good place for us to wrap up today. The one thing I will frame for you guys before going is stay with your body. After doing practices like this, it's great for you to pay attention and be gentle as long as you can until life brings you back to your normal resting state, which might be different from these expanded places. So you might get some downloads in the meantime. If you want to journal, that's a good place to go. I'm going to go back to screen sharing mode here, and we'll go back to our diagrams to close out. You've seen the two versions of this, the ditch rocking back and forth and the pyramid. I'm going to highlight the pyramid specifically. The bottom of the pyramid is the ditch. We haven't talked about the top half. When you can successfully feel all of the archetypes in the shadow realm, the polarities, or both of these together as their most repressed archetype, depression and despair. When you have no resistance to any point in the ditch, you can enjoy the journey of being there fully and the aliveness that it grants your body, which means that you've transcended into laughing. You are no longer controlled by being in the ditch itself, but you can also enjoy being in it when you are there without having to worry about getting out. That's what actual shadow work is about, and that's what will help heal the biological mechanism. So hopefully I will see you guys again. In the meantime, if you need me, feel free to reach out to HPA. You guys can always ask for any advice from me if you need to check in. I know the group chat might be a good place to do that in. So I'll put that in Brian and Bay's hands, and I will see you guys again soon.
Thank you so much.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Logan, so much. At some point, we might use these recordings. So if anyone's watching the recording, make sure to check out Logan. He's amazing. Logan, where else can people find you? Like, what's your Instagram, your website?
Instagram will be the same as the website, Medicine of Man, and then medicineofman.com. You can also find me on massagingthepsyche.com, which is where I'm launching my online school. I've been teaching this methodology in person in Vancouver, but that'll be the online school that's being launched in May. I'm currently getting some people to beta test the course, so that'll be a great place to actually also learn a little bit more about how to apply this regardless of your methodology. I do body work, some people do breath work, some people are talk therapists. This stuff applies to all of it. So thank you.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend you guys, if you're interested, check out Logan's program. Like I said, he's launching it, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. Every time I hear Logan teach or facilitate, he gives me, like, he teaches me something. You guys know I have a deep sense of the body, deep sense of the breath, like all these things, and he's like blowing my mind. So, and as you guys can experience just from this, like, there's so much we can do to bring ourselves into more balance. It doesn't require like, pharmaceuticals or like crazy, like this crazy process. Oh, I gotta, go through this huge evolution. Like sometimes you're just feeling really sad and feeling angry, and like what Logan brought us through is we just needed a pillow and a blanket. Like amazing. So highly recommend checking that out. Reach out to him, asking questions. Yeah. Thank you, Logan. It's been a pleasure having you here, having your medicine.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was a lot of fun for me too. So appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening, and we will see you next week. Oh, yeah, and we'll see you. I can't remember actually. I'm going to turn the recording out for this because I'm going to talk about Hika stuff.